why I asked the question, why mope? Because to everything that we go through, there's an appointed season. We will go through things in life. We're going to have trials. We're going to have tribulations. We're going to have times of sorrow. We're going to have times of grief. But there's also times of joy. There's also a time of reaping what we've sowed. And I pray that we all sow good seeds, that we might reap a good harvest. I pray that even when we're going through stages of mourning, that we realize that weeping may endure for a night, but joy surely does come in the morning if we just hold on. And so as I was looking at Ecclesiastics and I was thinking about some things today as the Lord was dealing with me on this Thankful Tuesday, just to challenge us to get past our natural reaction to when things are not going well. Because it's so easy to get caught up in the here and now and what we're facing and what we're dealing with now, that we start to weep and moan a little bit. And like I said, don't get mad at me, because I know that as a human being that's what we do. But what I'm asking you and challenging everyone to do today is stop, take a breath, and then reconsider. Reconsider. Reconsider who God is to us. Reconsider what God is able to do through us, for us, and by us. Reconsider what you're seeing. Asking you and challenging everyone to do today is stop, take a breath, and then reconsider. Reconsider. Reconsider who God is to us. Reconsider what God is able to do through us, for us, and by us. Reconsider what you're seeing, and go beyond that. Go beyond that. And so today, like I said, I just want to challenge you for a moment to just not lose focus about who God is, and more importantly, who God is to us. We can't lose sight of Him because of the clouds that hang low. We can't lose sight of Him because there's a smoke screen in front of our face. We have to, in our spiritual man, in our spiritual heart, see beyond what we see. We just have to. If we're gonna endure this to the end, we're gonna have to see beyond what we see. We're gonna have to tap into our faith and say, okay, God, I see what I see, but I'm believing and trusting in you for more. I see what I see what's happening, but I'm believing and trusting in you for more. And as I think about Ecclesiastics and I think about why mope, it is just to remind us that in spite of what we're dealing with, there's something on the other side. Even when we're going through, there's something on the other side. And that's why I'm asking today, why mope? I think about this from every facet of life. In a relationship, you might get dumped. You might realize that the person that you were in love with might not be in love with you anymore. That's okay. It's okay. You might realize that the job that you thought would be there and you could hold on to it and you were going to retire from it, one day you might go in and you might receive that pink slip. That's okay. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking, but it's not the end of the world. And that's what I'm challenging us to do today, to see past even those things that we don't see, we don't understand, and we don't know how they're going to work. God said that there is a time and a place for everything. Everything under the sun has a time and a place. And what we have to start doing as believers in Christ is looking beyond what we see and saying, okay, God, I see what's happening. It says that every good and perfect gift comes down from Him who has no variation, Him who casts not a shadow. When God is with us, if God be for us, then it is greater than the whole world against us. So if God is for us, then what difference does it make who is against us? What difference does it make when we go into our jobs and the enemy is present? What difference does it make when we come home and things are not in perspective, or if things aren't in perfect peace? If God be for us. And that's why I'm asking, why mope? Why mope? God is not going to withhold any good thing from us. Now, this is what I want us to put in perspective. Even though He might not withhold it from us, we have to understand that just because we want it right then, that doesn't mean that God is going to give it to us right then. It doesn't mean that he's not. As the old saying would go, a blessing delayed is not a blessing denied. So simply because God doesn't do it right then, instantaneously, when we want it, doesn't mean that he's saying no. It just simply means not right now. And what our faith should tell us is that if it's for my good, if it's for my benefit, if God wills it to happen, then it's going to happen. It doesn't matter when. It just means that it's not right now. And that's what I want to encourage us for, is just to not get caught up in the right now. Not right now. And that's what I want to encourage us for, is just to not get caught up in the right now. As I was thinking about this, as the Lord was working with me on this, he reminded me that he is the lily in the valley, the bright and morning star. You know, no matter what we're going through, God is always present. He's always present. And we have to remind ourselves, and that's why I stopped saying he may not come when I want him, but he's always on time, because it almost gives the idea that God has to show up on the scene, or he has to, Spirit, which is our comforter. We thank God for his son, you know, who died for us, that we might have access to the true and living God, the one who sits high and look low. You know, it is amazing that sometimes when we go through things, it seems so catastrophic. It seems so life-altering. And it is. And it is. But then as the time goes and God settles us, he calms us. He wraps his arms around us. As the days and the months and years go by, we can look back and say, my God, look where you brought me from. Look how you worked that thing out for me. Look how you delivered me. You know, it's amazing that even when we're going through things, that God is able to work. God is still working. You know, I'm glad that he placed Ecclesiastes on my mind and in my spirit, because it lets me know that there's a season. I might go through a season of hardship. I might go through a season of brokenness. I might go through a season of depression. I might go through a season of rejection. I might go through a season of hardship. I might go through know when the season will end. But I know that God is present with me through the whole thing. I know that he will never what? Leave us nor forsake us. And even when I think about my big brother, even when I think about Jesus on the cross, you know, when he cried out, Father, Father, why have thou forsaken me? I was so grateful when I read and started to understand that it wasn't because God had forsaken him, because he wouldn't have forsaken him. Dark, and I'm glad that Pastor Tabin preached on this Sunday. Light in the darkness, even in darkness, there is still through us. It is speaking through us. It is coming through us. It is that light that God has given us through his son Jesus Christ. That light, because he declares that we are his light. We are his salt. So even in the presence of our trials and tribulations, we can still count it joy, because we know it's not something that we have to go through alone. It is not something that catches God up by surprise. You know, it's not like when something comes. That's us in our micro small power or not even power, but that's in our humanly form. But we serve a God that's bigger, that's greater. And I thank him for his grace, because I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it, but because to us, he gives us those things. Look, yes, mercy, because, you know, he could treat us like we deserve. That's mercy. I'm going to go a step further. And, you know, and it behooves us not to get so caught up in who we are. Because God says he reigns on the just as well as the unjust. He calls his sun to shine on everybody. You know, even when we were yet still sinners, God loved us so much that he would send his only begotten son to die for us. So it's not like it's something that we're doing because we're saved.